we doing, guys? We are back again with a different kind of show, but we thought we've done player ratings all season. We're now going to do seasonal player ratings. And there's some interesting stuff that's going to come out of this because we're going to go through our average, what we've gone over the season. And so I've been keeping a little record of it. Don't worry, the spreadsheet's been on the go. I'm going to go through it basically in order of how you guys have ranked them, really, in terms of the lowest average scorer to the highest average scorer. I'm hoping that makes sense. It probably does make sense. But anyway, you'll see as we get into it anyway, guys. But before I do get into it, remember, we've got a fantastic fantasy football game on the go at this moment in Team Scorito. We've teamed up with Scorito. Check them out, guys. It's free to join. All you need to do is download the Scorito app or visit the Scorito website. The link is in the description down below. Basically, it's a combination of fantasy football and predictions. It's a very unique game in that kind of sense. You predict the 4 goal scorers of each round of the tournament, the winner of the tournament, and each individual score of the tournament. And it's a points-based system, so check that out, guys. And yeah, without any further ado, let's get into this then, guys. So I'm going to start with, out of our by the way, as well, just to point out, it is defenders plus goalkeeper we're going to do in this one. Defenders plus goalkeeper, because they're all technically defenders in their own way. One defends with the hands, the other defends with the feet. They're all defenders. Don't be awkward in the comments, guys. Don't be awkward in the comments. You know this. Right, so we're going to start with the lowest ranked defender so far, based on our average over the season. And it might not surprise people. It is Gianni Alioski. Now, I thought the average was quite harsh, 6.08. But then I think back to certain games against Fulham, Brighton, Man United away, that probably pulled the average down pretty dramatically because he was mostly 7s over the whole season. But Chris, I mean, the 3 goals, 3 assists. I mean, we were all surprised that he started 31 games this season. That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, that genuinely shocked me. I can't remember him starting that. I didn't think he'd started that many.
This isn't a Phil Miles stat either.
No, these have been properly sourced, not pulled out of thin air. Do you know what? He's had some great games this season. I can understand the average at 6 because I think in some games we've probably rated him as high as an 8 or a 9 on a very rare occasion. But I think he's had 4s as well,
and 3s.
And 3s. I'm thinking maybe Fulham, games like that. So it doesn't surprise me his average, mate. What surprised me most out of that is the amount of games he's had this season, which probably shows why the club are offering him a new contract and aren't just seeing him out the door. Yeah, they obviously see him as a bigger piece of the jigsaw than maybe us as fans do moving forward.
Absolutely. I mean, Rhiannon, do you think, what kind of number were you thinking on Gianni? Out of 10 over the season?
I'd probably say 6.
Okay.
If I'm being, 6. I think that's fair. It's quite obvious that his good games always happen against the big teams. He does seem to pull it out the bag and pocket a few players here and there, and know how to wind them up. Like against, was it Arsenal, wasn't it?
Nicolas Pepe.
Yeah, that was class.
We won't talk about the return game though. That didn't go too well. The return game came off after at half time for now. Huggins, I think I remember that one.
Oh God, yeah. But but the thing is, against the teams that we should have been beating, like you probably would almost expect us to beat, the Burnleys, the Brightons, and stuff like, and teams like that. He had a shocking game. And he definitely went missing a lot. And so I think overall, like the season overall, I think 6 is a fair mark.
Okay. Chris, what were you thinking, mate, in terms of numbers-wise on Gianni?
To be fair, I can't argue with a 6. I was going to score him a 7. I think, but that's probably slightly rose-tinted glasses at the end of a season as well, thinking where positive games tend to stick in the mind more than absolute howlers. So I can't argue with 6, mate. I think we've done quite well there between us all over the season. I think that probably balances out about right.
That's it. I mean, I think you're spot on there, though, mate, in the sense that it's the stage of the season. It's the fact we've come off the back of 4 wins in a row. He's played pretty well towards the end of the season. It's kind of makes you forget about that run at the start of the season when he went into left back, Stewie Dallas went to midfield, and everyone was like, get Dallas back in at left back now, kind of thing. It was like that for pretty much 2 months. Then he had a couple of decent games. But yeah, I think what you've got to look at as well, even if you just take sort of those last 6 or 7 games, is the fact that he didn't cost us the game on his own against Brighton, but he played a big part in that defeat in the first place. And against Fulham, he could have single-handedly cost us the results. And you're thinking,
was the Brighton won the rugby tackle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're thinking, but that's it. It's all well and good.
And he gave away a penalty as well, didn't he?
Shocking.
Yeah.
And he could have scored an own goal against Fulham. In terms of when he almost lost Meslier. This is it for me, where I've got to have the problem with going any higher than a 6 for Alioski. And that's probably where I kind of draw the line and say that you could argue he's a 7 out of 10 based on over the season, but there's games where he has cost us on his own, and he could have cost us on his own. You're thinking, maybe that's harsh. But in the comments, guys, let us know what you're thinking. But you guys have gone 6.08 over the season, so it's not too harsh at all, I don't think. Let's have a look if we've got any comments coming in.
We tend to work as 6 as being average, don't we?
Yeah,
when we're
he's not been poor, has he?
No.
I think it balances out. He's been brilliant at times and he's been god awful at times. So
But that sums him up his career, doesn't it? I actually think he's done better than what I thought he'd do in the Prem. And it seems that might seem a bit harsh, given that we've just given him a 6 out of 10. But I actually did genuinely worry about the thought of Alioski at left back, because he wasn't great at left back in the Championship, was he, Rhiannon? Really?
No, he wasn't. No, he definitely wasn't. No, and yeah, he was like when most people were worried about Ayling and Dallas, my main worry was Alioski, like just because of how he is, and also it's just the way he is, isn't he? He's very I say probably the best word was say volatile. In that he's got a very short fuse. I probably would have expected a lot more red cards, if I'm being honest. I'm so surprised at them 31 starts, because I'm still racking my brain in how he's managed 31 starts. Because I swear Dallas was in there for at least half the season at left back.
It is mad. I can't. It won't show me like his by position, but I'm assuming most of the games are at left back. He's played a couple on the wing, I think. But I'm really surprised by that. The 31 starts. So that's it's weird though. It's weird, but it's definitely true. I've checked on a couple of websites, thinking that can't be true. But it is definitely true. So interesting one, isn't it? But let's move on. Let's move on to the next lowest. But we are moving considerably up now in terms of on the ratings. Any guesses who this next one will be?
I think I'm going to guess it's going to be Coops.
Okay.
I was going to say Cooper. Cooper.
It is Liam Cooper.
I don't agree with our average there.
It's from the start of the season. I'm thinking back to games like Crystal Palace away, Leicester at home. We get beat by 4. That Man United 6-2 game, I think he got quite a low one on that. I think everyone got a low one on that, to be fair. But he's definitely been better than a 6 for starters. I've probably even. I feel like I was going 7, but I'm thinking probably more 7, 8-ish. I mean, Rhiannon, your take on Coops this season? Still 26 starts for him. It's still not been too bad.
No, he hasn't been. I mean, obviously he was injured for the times that he hadn't really started, and also the other few games, you couldn't really take Struijk out of the team, could you really? Especially when his partnership was so strong with Llorente, you couldn't really move him. So, but when he did play, I didn't understand the flack he used to get, because there were several points in nearly every game where he always made a crucial block. Do you know what I mean? He was literally the last man in defence, and he saved us a lot of the time. And he didn't have the best stats at one point in the season for no reason. So I mean, I love Coops, obviously, because he's our captain. But yeah.
This is it, isn't it? I think the leadership-wise, when he's been on the pitch, you can clearly tell that he's on the pitch in that kind of sense. I think I've got to be honest, second half of the season, I think he's been one of our best defenders, to be honest. I think pound for pound, he's been absolutely superb second part of the season. I don't think he was that bad first part of the season, to be honest. I know, as you were saying there,
as a team, weren't we? Defending
that's it, isn't it?
In the season, yeah.
If you're seriously going back to that start of the season and saying that Cooper cost us week in, week out, then you're misled. You got to go back to those first couple of games. You won't find that many Liam Cooper mistakes. I can't, to be honest, out of all defenders, I'd probably say, other than maybe Llorente, Coops has probably made the least mistakes out of them all, to be honest. I think certainly you look at maybe Luke Ayling, who we're going to obviously talk about on this. Not that I'm having a go at Luke Ayling, just saying that he's not. There's this perception about Liam Cooper that he's error prone, but there's no basis to it at all. We're still going back to like 2015, 2016 when he first came to the club. He's a different player now. I mean, for me, he's another one, Chris. He's actually done better than I thought he would do in this league. I think he's looked. I mean, second part of the season, he's looked like he's played at this level for 10 years or so, to be honest. He's looked that's kind of accomplished in his role.
I agree, mate. I think I thought Championship was probably going to be his ceiling. He'd have the one season with us where we'd find someone else, potentially a Robin Koch or someone who would eventually replace him, and then we wouldn't really see much of Coops again. But he's proven, not that I said it, and I hoped, because I love him as a captain. I think he's been one of our best captains in a long, long time. But I'm really pleased for him. I thought he had a really good... I'm instantly bumping him up to a 7 for me. And I could justify an 8 on the way he's led the club as well in its first season back in the Premier League. I just think he's a superb club captain. But going on performances, I'm going to rate him a 7, mate. I think he gets far too much flack. I don't understand it. He led us to the Championship title, and then the next season he's getting absolute pelters for absolutely no reason. And stuff like the Man City sending off, I'm still saying if he doesn't make that tackle, I'm getting on his case for letting Jesus run past him. So for me, really solid 7 from Coops. I think he's been superb this season and better than what we expected, I guess, before we kicked the ball.
Yeah, I think 7. I think the other thing with Cooper as well is that he's not played as many games as the other defenders, so maybe naturally it's got to be a little bit lower. So, Rhiannon, what number do you say, Rhiannon? Or did you?
I don't think I said a number
yet.
I'd probably say 7. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't score him a 6 at all. I think he's done a lot better than that.
I think maybe first part of the season you could argue a 6, but second part of the season it's just been just that much better. I think certain games that stand out, just made a couple of little notes on Coops, is probably the one against Palace where he just looked absolutely ridiculous. Southampton recently where I think we gave him back the match on the post-match show. Couple of other ones as well. I've seen any other ones stand out. Again, the thing is, Cooper, I'm just looking down this kind of spreadsheet here. It's 7s and 8s second part of the season without fail. Even the Man City game, we gave him a 7 because, look, whether it was a red or was a yellow, whatever you want to call it, he was still actually good in that game for the first half. I mean, City had no joy in that game at all until he kind of got sent off and able to sit in a bit.
Do you know what makes me laugh, Oscar? Is I can guarantee, and we won't get to him today because I think he's played more games in midfield. It's Stewie Dallas, so you'll cover him tomorrow. But he will be predominantly 7s and 8s through the season. I can guarantee it. Yet he's winning Player of the Season for 90% of the fan base, and that probably a lot of that fan base are giving Coops absolute rock pelters. He's pretty much been rated the same for a lot of the season, certainly second half.
That's it. Crazy, That's it, though, mate. It's mad, though. It is mad when you look at something like this. You're thinking, I'm not going to give too much away, but the highest has got an average of 7.64. Now, I'm thinking, is there that much of a difference from like one defender to the other defender that it's that much kind of thing? I'm thinking it's mad. That is quite. That's how player ratings works, mate. We do go extreme both ways. I mean, to be fair, at times we're giving like 2s in that Crawley game, and then Man United game as well. So it's massively. It is affected a little bit by the averages. So don't take that. But it's just interesting, I think, that average kind of thing. A couple of things have surprised me on it, but okay. Well, we've agreed on Coops. Let's see if we've got any ratings on here. As Ben says, spot on. This is it, though, isn't it? There's not a massive difference in performance between Dallas and Cooper, but I don't want to say that. Well, I've just said that, and I regret saying that now because I'm now going to get a load of stick.
I think you mean scores rather than performances. What we
I think it's just the fact Dallas has just been at it all season. I think that's the big thing for me in terms of
grabbing goals, it. Do you know what I mean? So he's going to get seen as, and I think we all saw him as a left back before a season kicked off again. So what Stewie's done from what we expected is probably what stands out.
Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly.
Especially because even though I was banging the Dallas in midfield drum, the way he just took over the midfield and just had that much control, he deserves all the plaudits he gets, doesn't he? So
yeah,
totally. But we'll check out tomorrow, guys. Check out tomorrow. That's a quick plug for tomorrow. We will be racing Stuart Dallas. Be interesting I know where Stuart Dallas comes in all this. That's the thing. This is where it becomes interesting. So we've had Gianni Alioski, we're getting number 6. Liam Cooper, we're getting number 7. Who is next, do you guys reckon, on this list? So we're including goalkeepers and defenders on this.
Not Illan. Ilan's higher.
Who is next up? We're doing 7 players tonight. That's all I'm going to say.
So are we including Robin in this as well? Yeah.
Just about.
It's either Robin or Pascal.
Okay. No.
Okay.
I'm going to go Robin.
I'm going to say Robin is next.
You do know I take a big part in these player ratings, so it's. I can assure you, it's Pascal who's next. It is Pascal who's next. Now there's not a big difference here, but this will make sense in a second. Pascal, over the season, by far has got the most 9s on this in terms of defenders. By far the most 9s. But we're taking into consideration the games where he's played C, D, M. He's had some very, very low ratings. Palace away, Man United away, Crawley away. So that's massively.
SDDM.
There you go. If we're just doing this on his games at centre back, he wins this. He wins this whole thing hands down. To be honest, well, certainly this section of it. But anyway, 23 starts, 29 appearances. I mean, arguably one of the young players of this whole season in the Premier League, the way he's performed. I mean, he's just been exceptional. Hasn't he, Chris?
Yeah, mate. If it wasn't for the cat, Le Chat in goal, Pascal's winning Young Player of the Season. For a young kid who came in at the back end of the Championship season, really, we'd already pretty much won it. And he came in to cover Calvin and do little bits. He has stepped up this season and some. I mean, we've really lauded him at times this season. Like, he'll be whichever country he decides to play for. I've got some centre back there. The kid's 21 years old and he's an absolute beast. He's only going to get better and better. It wouldn't surprise me if teams were just having a sneaky little little look at him. I don't think he's going anywhere, don't get me wrong. I think he'll stay and play under Bielsa. I think all of them will, apart from the ones we know that have gone. But again, I could almost justify an 8 for Pascal, you know, if I was just talking centre-back, I guess. Like you say, bringing in those CDM games, then I'm going to give him a 7, which is nearly there anyway. I think I could justify an 8, mate. If I'm thinking just centre-back, so just defensive, then I'll stick with 7, but I can understand people saying 8. He's been superb this season when we probably didn't expect him to play a lot.
No, exactly. I mean, he's played over half the games. I mean, I'm solidly on that 8 train, to be honest. I'm solidly on that 8 out of 10 train.
That's fair, mate. I can't argue with it.
He was called Patrick Smith, to be honest, and he was English.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, imagine having him as an option. But anyway, he's not. He's called Pascal Struijk, and he can play for either Holland or Belgium, and it's their game. I mean, Rihanna, where do you stand on Pascal? I'm going 8 personally because I look at. I can't think of any bad games at centre back. Okay, maybe that Brighton away game, that wasn't too great, but other than that, I can't think of anything else where he's really let us down at centre back. I think he's played a couple of games CDM, but I think the thing I would say about it is, don't get me wrong, he's not done well in that position, but I think over the season he's got gradually a little bit more comfortable. Like at Southampton game, he played the second 45, and he looked like he was really grown into that position. And the fact is, we didn't expect him to start games this season. He started most of our games. He started some of them out of position, and he's in his first season of senior football in the toughest league in the world. For me, he's got to be worth an 8 out of 10 for that, personally speaking. But I can see the argument for going lower. But I'm on that 8 train, you know. I'm on that 8 train for Pascal.
I actually am leaning a bit towards like Chris's argument. If I'm being honest, I just can't get them CDM games out of my head, and that literally only brings him down. You are totally right, though, Oscar. Like when he did play CDM, it was against Southampton, wasn't it? He played CDM. Yeah. He literally was a completely different player. Like he actually played well in that position, and actually, you know, made it his own, and I was actually doing well. But yeah, I just can't get the other shocking games out of my head, and that is literally the only thing that brings him down. Like say, if it was literally just based on literally him, if he played centre back for the whole season, he literally wouldn't even be an 8. I'd even go as far as a 9.
Yeah,
he's literally that good, and we've got a player on our hands, and I really hope he stays with us for a very long time.
One criticism, which you can't really criticise the centre back for. Really, he should have probably had a couple more goals.
He got a 50p head. He got one.
He has got a 50p head. He has got a 50p head.
He probably should. That's probably my only criticism. Yeah, when I was just looking at that stat and thinking 1 goal in 23, he probably could have had. He
nearly had one though, didn't he? Was it against West?
What was the game where he could have had a hat trick?
Palace. We marked him down on that Palace game because he. I mean, look, for me over the season, I'm thinking that obviously me and Joe have called him Virgil van Struijk over the whole season. I'm thinking we're not doing that for 7 out of 10ers. You're not getting T-shirts for a 7 out of 10 season.
Right, I bet his season ratings are higher than Virgil van Dijk's this season. Just saying.
Yeah. He's better. That's why. But look, I've been outvoted. I'll happily drop down to a 7. Happily, I say. Anyway, let's move on. Okay, so next player. So we're done. Alioski 6. So we have left. Oh, you almost have me. I almost said that in order then, and almost gave the whole game away. So I'll say it from positional order. Illan Meslier, Luke Ayling, and then we have 2 centre backs left: Robin Koch and Diego Llorente. Who is next up on this list?
I'm going to be controversial and say Bill.
Okay. Rhiannon?
I might be a bit. This might sound controversial, but maybe Llorente. I'm just thinking in regards.
Robin.
It's Robin Koch. It's Robin Koch. Only just higher than Pascal, but I think, to be honest, I'm going to say I think Pascal's had the better season out of the two. Purely because he's played a lot more games, but I still think look at Robin Koch's season and say that first half of the season, I think he probably was our best defender. I think he had some excellent games against Villa, Arsenal, Everton away.
He was unlucky against Liverpool with that handball.
I mean, it was a shaky first game, wasn't it?
Well, it wouldn't be classed as a handball anymore, would it? Because it came off
his knee.
Because it came off his knee.
Yeah. I mean, he's been done by a technicality. I think you could also say he got done in the air, but it was against Virgil van Dijk. You say probably most centre-backs get done in the air by Virgil van Dijk. So you can't knock them too much for that. A couple of shaky games, but he's come back second part of the season. He's gone in against Man City, Man United, played kind of like a more of a holding midfield role. He's done a job on Pogba. He's done a job on Bernardo Silva. Then against Tottenham, we saw that real accomplished Robin Koch performance. Probably his best game of the season for me, that Tottenham one. But I'm not going as high as Pascal, though. I'm going a 7 out of 10 because he's only started 13 games. He's done well in those 13 games, but I'm going a 7. I'm going to go a 7 out of 10. It's not quite got going from this season, but I still feel out of the 4 centre-backs, he's probably the centre-back I look at and think, I still think he's our best centre back, to be honest. I think in terms of age, in terms of his build, in terms of the potential he's got, I'd still say he's probably the best of the four. But they're all pretty close.
I mean, I think it's a bit. I mean, it's a bit it's a bit harsh, isn't it? The scoring on Robin, because one, he got injured and then was out for ages because of surgery, and then as soon as he recovers, it's hard for him to get back into the team when you've got Llorente and Pascal doing so well as a partnership. You know, it's a bit like so I feel like it's a bit harsh. Do you know what I mean? Like, but I definitely, well, I agree, Oscar. I think I'd give him a 7 anyway. Like, I absolutely love Robin.
Okay. Chris?
We've got a player on our hands. There's absolutely no doubt about that. You can completely understand why the club went and spent very, very good money on him. I think we've got an absolute deal. If he can stay fit, now he's had that surgery, fingers crossed he does. We've a hell of a player. The biggest thing for Robin is how does he get in the team at the minute? Because I think we agree that Marcelo likes a left foot and a right foot at centre back, but there's always going to be opportunities. I think Llorente is always not far away from potentially getting niggles and injuries, so he's going to get game time. He's going to cover Calvin as well because he looked, like you said, in that Spurs game, completely accomplished performance at CDM against some very good forward players for Spurs. But I'm giving him a 7 as well. And again, it's probably down to he's only had 13 starts. I think if he'd have played 26, 27, 28 games, he's probably getting an 8 because he's pretty consistent with his performances. So, hell of a player. Lots more to come from him. We've got such options at centre-back. It's so nice to see after the early part of the season where we couldn't string 2 centre-backs together.
That was it. It was kind of Robin Koch and Luke Ayling for large parts of that first 10 games.
Because we had 13 different partnerships. 13. And they went, like the pundits went on and on about a leaky defence. It's like, is there any blooming wonder? The fact that we haven't had a partnership consistent, like, together for a long period. Of course, they're not going to be instantly telepathic, are they? Do you know what I mean? They're not instantly going to be on the same wavelength.
Pundits were too busy dripping over Liverpool's lack of defenders to notice that we were also lacking defenders. That's all you had them go on about. Oh, Liverpool missing defenders. No.
But last week, when Man United had Maguire out, I'm just going to mention Harry Maguire again for you there, Chris. Because they had one centre-back out and they're saying, they conceded 4 goals because they had one centre-back out. I'm thinking, stay consistent. Always stay consistent with your views there. That's nice and consistent. Anyway, Koch gets a 7 out of 10. So we've got 3 left.
Bill.
Yeah.
Okay. It is Luke Ayling. Who's next. The first player to get just over an average of 7, which is very impressive, to be fair, over 38 games, which just sums up how good he has been over the season. 38 starts, 38 appearances and 38 starts. He started every single Premier League game for us this season. And maybe on the final third, I was a little bit surprised by this. No goals, no assists. I'm very surprised by that, to be honest. I did actually have in my head that he'd made a couple of goals at the start of the season, but he hasn't. That was my imagination playing tricks on me, not for the first time. Anyway, so Luke Ayling, Rhiannon, thoughts on Bill?
I think he's been absolutely brilliant. I think he's definitely stepped up. He had Mane in his pocket. He's had several decent players in his pocket. He's still managing to slip in the Ayling flop without getting any yellow cards. And I think that's just a style within itself. Like, do you know what I mean?
It's a skill. It's a skill.
Absolute skill. And I just love it, though. I think what was it towards the end of the season? He did one and turned around and started laughing because I think the opposition player was just proper like mugging him off. But yeah, I mean, he's been consistent. I mean, he's been a brilliant right back. Him and Rafinha have been liquid. It's just been an absolutely joy to see. Literally liquid.
Liquid.
I just love that word.
Liquid. I love it.
Well, they have literally Ayling, Rafinha, and Bamford. Just the way that they all link up together, it's just been, liquid.
So Alan Partridge now. Have you ever watched Alan Partridge, sports commentator? Liquid foot. I can't do Alan Partridge. Liquid football. That's all I'm thinking of now. But I'm going 8s for Bill. I'm going to go higher, but I'm just thinking on set pieces at the start of the season. He lost every single header that's in that first sort of 10, 15 games. How many times did we lose this man? But he's actually a lot better in those situations. That's the only reason I'm not quite going to 9, but I still think he's been superb. I think it's probably the 3rd or 4th season in a row. I think every season I've given him at least an 8 out of 10 over the season. He's just magnifique, isn't he, Chris?
He is, mate. I was going to say until you pointed it out, I think the only criticism I can have of him is early season, where as soon as we were defending our own box, the lad just seemed to crumble, completely crumble. He couldn't get his feet off the floor to go for headers. But again, when we're talking about defending early season, I think a lot of the team can have the fingers pointed at them. So it's probably wrong to call him out for it too much. And like Rhiannon says, down that right-hand side, when they're both, one seems to suffer without the other. I think that's how much that relationship's grown. I don't think Rafa's as influential without Bill overlapping him and getting round him, creating space. And Bill's certainly not as good without Rafa in front of him, because the quality of outball's not there for Bill on that right-hand side, which I think is obvious. But I'm happy to give him an 8. I think he's been absolute. The fact he's played every Premier League game, he deserves an 8. Just for that, I think he's been absolutely superb. I think he's unlucky that he's not even been in one of the England squads for Southgate to have a look at him. But let's not get onto that melt. I think he's class. And he was one of the ones I was worried about at the beginning of the season. I was like, is he going to get found out? Yeah, he's been superb, mate. 8 for me, definitely.
Okay. And Rhiannon, were you going 8 as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've all agreed on that. 8's on Luke Ayling. I mean, his season started off with nutmegging Sadio Mane, and it didn't really drop from there, really. It didn't really drop from there, from that point. 10 minutes in, he's there, putting to Tyler Roberts, and so I just nutmegged Mane, and then Mane did it. We won't talk about Mane doing it like 5 minutes later, but look, his season didn't drop from that point. He's had some really good games at centre-back. Even though he's made the odd mistake on set pieces, it's been another excellent season for him. The future captain for me. I think when Liam Cooper, he's a little bit younger than Liam Cooper, I think. He's a little bit younger than Liam Cooper, not much in it. But anyway, he is the future captain of this club, or certainly will be captain when Liam Cooper's not on the pitch. So next player, so we've got 2 to go.
Llorente.
Oh, I'm going to say Meslier.
No, I can't see Meslier.
I think he's had a couple of absolute howlers like the Arsenal game.
But don't forget, Meslier started more games.
Oh yeah, well that's what I'm saying is that ratings. I think it's next. It goes against him. Yeah, so I think Meslier is next in the list.
It's a bit like Gianni, really. Like if he has, say, like a 40-game season, if he has 5 shockers, his numbers are going down like that. But it is Meslier.
Oh man!
I knew Rhiannon would be sick about that.
No,
you only have to listen to them all. You only have to listen to them all on the Lassie show.
Fuming is Rhiannon over there. Rhiannon, Illan Meslier this season.
10.
Thoughts?
10. I don't like literally. Thing is, he hasn't. In my eye, I don't know. Can't really say he's had like a lot of shockers. I mean, I can only think of maybe 1 or 2. And even when he has, he's come back stronger the next match.
All goalkeepers will have bad games.
Yeah.
This is it. Like
everyone has a bad game, but when a keeper does, it shows up, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And the idea in a 35-game season that your goalkeeper's not going to cost you 2 or 3 times is just naive. It is naive beyond belief. If you think, like, you can say Edison cost Man City in the Champions League final when he decided to charge out to Kai Havertz.
Alisson has on a couple of occasions this season, hasn't he?
Yeah.
But it's margins, isn't it, for a goalkeeper? Yeah. If Edison makes a save from Havertz, if it doesn't rebound back to Havertz, we're all talking about a great bit of goalkeeping. But the fact is, it's margins, isn't it? A goalkeeper makes a mistake, it's a goal. and that is the be all and end all of it. Having said that, I'm going to go 9. Only reason being is those when he has had bad games, he's kind of put in like 3 or 4 mistakes, like in a 90-minute spell. Like obviously the Arsenal and Tottenham games, they were really bad. They were really bad games.
I suppose the positive out of that is he got all his mistakes out in just a couple of games. So
that's
not making one a game. He's just make 5 or 6 in the same game.
He doesn't like London. That's the thing. That's the theory I'm on. He doesn't like London.
Leeds through and through. Then doesn't like London.
Proper Leeds. Don't like London.
I mean, to be fair, like okay, I may be a bit over enthusiastic, but still, I'm still sticking with the 10.
I could argue a 10. That's the only reason I'm not going 10.
But it's just, I just can't get like Sheffield United away. What's the second game of the season out of my head? The way that he saved Lundstrom's attempt.
That for me is probably in the top 3 saves of the season in the Premier League.
Yeah,
he's had his own save of the season competition. Yeah, let's be honest, he's had his own save of the season competition.
Yeah,
mad. I'll just read out to you. Yeah. Right, there's games where we've gone 9 or higher on Illan Meslier. So Southampton at home, Everton away, Sheffield United away, Burnley away, Tottenham at home. So that's 5 games where we went 9 or higher. In terms of 8, so again, he's mostly 8 out of 10. So he's genuinely, he's just ridiculously consistent. I think he's only gone below a 6 on 3 occasions. Palace away, where he did make a mistake, I think, if I can remember rightly. What's the other one? Arsenal away, Tottenham away. Yeah. It's London. This is the problem. It's London. Always London. That's the problem. But I could easily go 10, but I'm still going to stick with a 9. I'm going to be I set very, very. If I'm going 10, I'm setting very, very high standards, and I'm not quite there on the 10. I'm not quite there on the 10. Chris?
I'm going to go 9 as well. I think just for those couple of shockers. But like we said before, that save against Sheffield United is one of the best saves I've ever seen in football. The way he read where Lundstrom was going, he had no right to get his hand on that. Absolutely no right at all. That for me finished, that relegated Sheffield United there and then, second game in. You can't score there, you're not scoring all season. And he's been mega. For a young kid, 11 clean sheets against what at the beginning of the season was a shaky defence in front of him. He still walked away this season with 11 clean sheets. I'm going to go 9, but I can understand Rhiannon going 10. It's fair enough. He is our number 1 for many seasons to come, and within 2 seasons, he will be the France number 1 for me as well if he carries on this trajectory. I think he's absolutely superb. Just needs to put a bit of meat on the bones.
Yeah, exactly.
The body needs to match the voice.
Yeah,
I actually think it'll be next season where he becomes France's number 1. I think if Lloris messes up for them, I think he genuinely is going to be number 1 next season. To be honest, but
all day I'd take it. I think he wouldn't look amiss in that France team.
Do you think that Sheffield United Sheffield United save was the one that really gave him that confidence at this level? I do. I think it's that save early on in the season that he thinks he's won us a game on his own, really, at Sheffield, because he made another one, really good one, actually, like 10 minutes after that doesn't even get any mention, but one-handed, left hand, I think it was off, I can't think who it was now, might have been George Bulldog, I think, but someone will say in the comments anyway, but I think that was massive for this whole season.
He did save against Bulldog as well.
Yeah, I think it was Bulldog, that save.
Yeah.
Let's remember as well, this kid cost us £5 million. Kepa, 75 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then Lampard played him and then didn't like him in the end.
Yeah. This kid, 5 million is an absolute steal. You could say he's the best purchase we made. There's an argument for it.
Ever.
Because there's that stat out, isn't it, that we're the best team, value of money, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know where we've got. Yeah, we got most points per million spent or something, or value of squad. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Oscar's going to put 50p in his Wi-Fi meter.
Honest to God. Well, we know who's next, but I'm not going to cover it till we've got his stats up.
I know, exactly. I want to see the stats.
What's everyone else? I'm just looking in the comments. What's everyone else given Meslier? 9s and 10s by the looks of it.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean,
no, you can't argue that. Do you know what? I was even like, I know I was getting overexcited, but I was like saying, "I'll take Meslier to the Euros this year."
For me, he genuinely should be in that France squad. I'm not
saying, but not.
He should be. He should be in the 23s. He should be in that squad this for this Euros without a doubt. Can't hear you, Oscar.
Can't hear you.
He's having an absolute.
Do you want to see that bit of skill? A bit of skill against Holland. They did.
Oh yes, that Lucy posted it up on Twitter.
Little drag back.
Yeah.
What a keeper, anyways. But so we're agreed on 9. We're agreed on 9 on Meslier.
Yeah, for me, yeah.
Okay,
all
okay.
Right.
So
I concede.
okay. We won't be that harsh on Dallas. Don't worry, Brianna. We won't be that harsh on Dallas. But you'll never forgive us. You'll never come back again if we go any lower than 10 on Dallas, will you?
I'll be in the chat saying 10.
Refuse to come back on all these TV if we don't. One person remaining. It is one person remaining. Again, a big part of this has been the lack of games, but don't get me wrong, Llorente is a solid gold 8 out of 10 for me. In terms of, even though he's played we started less than 15 games, he's been that good. I think out of those 15 games, he's been a man of the match contender 10, 11, 12 times. He had a really bad game down at West Ham, I thought, which is probably his second or third game of the season, where maybe the doubts are starting to creep in, maybe a little bit in terms of, is he at the level of a Robin Koch or a Pascal? But let's be honest, he's probably arguably, well, he has, for me, pound for pound, been our best centre-back of the 4 for me this season. I mean, look at the defensive record since he's come in. We've got one of the best defensive records in the league from having one of the worst. We're hardly conceding anything from set pieces, counter-attacks. We're absolutely rock solid with Diego in this team. I don't think he's been the best of the 7. I think it is Illan Meslier. I think pretty clearly Illan Meslier has been the best of the 7. But nonetheless, despite maybe the 7.64 being a little bit exaggerated because of his lack of games, he's still been superb. Rhiannon, your thoughts on Llorente?
Oh, I totally agree with you. I'd go 8, even push to a 9 with the way he's finished the season. Similar to almost like Cooper, like if he's the last man before Meslier, you know he's gonna put his body on the line, and some of the skill in the box, I just think is just, it's just excellent. Like, was it against Southampton when? Because I'm going to get all confused now with all the players, and I'm going to get shouted at. Teller. Is it Teller?
Yes, the dive. The
dive. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
And I just thought that was cheeky. But his skill, though, I'm glad VAR cleared it all up. But his skill in the box to not give away a penalty is so good. I just think, he makes himself as like one of the most reliable players out on the pitch.
That Teller moment, though, is probably the funniest. To be fair, in terms of watch-along moments, that's probably it's probably in the top 5 for me that I can think of the top of my head. Maybe even higher than that, because me and Joe Wayman, because it looked like a foul in open play, me and Joe Wayman was saying, "Oh, Llorente diving in, typical emotion, too emotional, too pumped up. Just what's he doing? What's he playing at? What's he doing? Where's Robin Koch? Where's Pascal?" All this lot. I mean, we were just honestly about 30 seconds, just absolutely lambasting Diego Llorente, and then literally on the same thing, just another Joe Wayman going, "He's dived! And all this lot, and then we just completely changed our tune within like 5 seconds. But it's what we do. But that moment just kind of sticks out in my head. But I mean, he's just got better by the game, hasn't he, really, Chris?
Yeah, for me, probably individual performance-wise, I'd agree an 8. But for the effect he's had on the team and the way we've improved defensively, I'm giving him a 9. I think he's been an absolute rock, and he seems to have brought other players along. Pascal seems to love playing alongside him. I think he brings the best out of Pascal. It doesn't surprise me that Bill's defending at right back has got better with Llorente at the side of him. I think he lifts
he's
the whole
a bit of a
defense.
leader as well.
Yeah.
I think he's got that. I think he's got a nasty streak in him.
I know you said about Bill probably being the next captain, which you can't argue about. He's vice captain. He's been around the club a long time.
Llorente,
There's a potential captain in Llorente. There's definitely a potential captain in him. I'm going to give him a 9. I love him to bits, mate. I think he's what a steal again. We're all worried he was made of biscuits. Do you know what I mean? Early doors.
Or glass.
But he's played 12. I think it's 12 or the 13. Oh, we did actually miss out the West Brom game, but I think Bielsa's getting the rest anyway. But he's put a couple of games consecutively in. There's been a couple of moments, heart in mouths moments. I think there was one against Liverpool when he went in for a challenge on Mane and he stayed down. You're thinking, oh no, got straight back up. So I think the thing is,
Spaniard. That's what it is, though, isn't it? That's just the Spaniard in him because he's been playing in La Liga in the past. That's what they do, though, don't they? They always exaggerate it.
Yeah,
one against Villa. Do you remember that one against Villa?
Oh, don't. He went prime Grealish, didn't he? He went prime Grealish.
really, really bad.
But to be fair, he hasn't done it a lot.
It wouldn't surprise me if Bielsa's had a word in his shell and gone, we don't do that here, mate.
We don't do that now.
That's it. That's it. I mean, it's one of them, wasn't it? When he did it, it was like Adrian all those years ago. That fish thingy where he went
nothing beats the Adrian one where he was flopping around like a caught fish, struggling for air.
Oh, dear me. I mean, you've got to be a good player to do that. And luckily, if Llorente had a bad first start to the season or was playing absolutely shockingly bad and then did that on top of it,
right?
My words, he's gone. His Leeds career is done
with him. Yeah, the fans are done with him. Yeah, I agree, mate. Yeah.
But okay, so I've gone 8, Chris gone 9, Rhiannon
9.
Okay, I'm certainly down for that. 9 out of 10 for Diego Llorente. So that has been, I mean, look, he's good. Does he start at the Euros for Spain? Do you think?
I hope so.
I hope
so. The team
because he's made of biscuits. No, sit him on the bench. Don't need him getting injured for Spain again and then coming back to Leeds crocked.
That's it. First,
Cooper will though. Cooper's played for Scotland, no doubt, so he'll come back crocked.
Yeah, that'll be Calvin going in on him, snapping him or something.
That's it, isn't it? I mean, we got comments yesterday about we're very positive about the Euros. I'm glad you got that impression. I'm really glad you got that impression because we are super positive about the Euros. Chris has got he's never stopped playing.
Can't wait for Harry Maguire to play. I'd love watching Harry Maguire play football.
Loves it. Loves Big H, doesn't he? Yorkshire's finest. Yeah. Anyway, so we've done our play ratings there. It's worth mentioning, funny you mentioned about Llorente in Spain there, Chris, is that Llorente in the first part of the season had played more minutes for Spain than he had for Leeds up until February, which is absolutely insane. So to get the score he has done is full credit to his mentality, his quality, all the other superlatives you can think of. He has been absolutely fantastic.
I think what stands out for me, mate, and it's similar with Coops actually, apart from when Pascal was having worldies near the end of the season, was as soon as Llorente's fit, Marcelo's thrown him back in the team, and he's not generally like that. He'll normally give him a game, bring him on. Llorente, you're fit, you're on some. And I think that says a lot about what Bielsa thinks of Llorente as a footballer.
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly that. I mean, sums it up perfectly, does that man. But guys, I hope you've enjoyed this anyway. It's been something a little bit different, but we thought we'd do it. Let us know what your play ratings were for the season. There's a couple of you guys in the live comments giving us your thoughts. Some of you might be watching this back because you decided to spend the night watching England. That's your own lookout. You could have been watching this. You could have spent the first half watching this.
Rather watch the wall, to be fair.
Your choice. Yeah, to be fair. What, the Nits?
No, the England game.
England game.
I'm glad you cleared that up, Chris. But guys, make sure you smash that subscribe button and the like button, because we're going to be doing this every single night. Well, the next 2 nights after this one. Thursday night, we're going to do the midfielders. We're going to look at the defensive midfielders, the central midfielders. Friday, we're going to look at wingers and centre forwards. And then that is going to be your player rating series. As well, keep a lookout for a whole group season review at some point. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to play out, but we're going to get that out at some point. But yeah, keep it locked, guys. Plenty of Euros content. Bit on the transfers as well. Keep it locked, guys. Anyway, yeah, great fun. And just for a finish, make sure you check out not our app, Scarito. We're teamed up with Scarito. Fantastic fantasy football game. It's a combination of predictions and fantasy football. Basically, you pick the four people that you think are going to score in each round. You're going to predict the score in each round, and you're going to predict the winner. It's absolutely free to join. It would be $2.99 to join another league, but with All East TV, it's totally free to join. There will be a prize on offer. We're not sure exactly what that will be yet, but there will be a prize on offer for the winner. Check it out in the links down below. You either need to download the Scarito app or check out Scarito online, and make sure you join the All East TV league, because at the end of the day, you want to finish above Phil. That's the ultimate motivation, isn't it? Because Phil was confident, wasn't he, guys? Yesterday, he was very confident, cocky. That's probably the best word for it. I don't think you can use any other kind of description for Phil other than very cocky at times, isn't he? But anyway, it will be Phil, I think, on the Player Rating show tomorrow. I think it will be Phil and Tash. I think it is tomorrow. So keep it locked, guys. We'll be starting same time tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Check it out, guys. We're going to leave it there anyway. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you later, guys.